everybody, Chris back, and as you've probably guessed, I'm going to be going over the new max distance driver from Discraft. That's right, we're going to take a look at the Kong. Buddy, not everything is all about you. Hey, I am not taking that bet. I have seen you throw it over that mountain. Alright, let's get out to the course. By now, just about everybody has heard of Discraft's new long-distance driver, the Kong, coming in at speed 12, glide 5, turn -1, fade 3, and a stability rating of a 1.9. The Kong is not super domey. It has this real nice gradual curve to it, but I have heard that there are some domier ones out there, and those ones do tend to be a little bit beefier. Now, for the rim, it comes in at a 2.3 centimeters. From my experience, it's a little bit too wide for a speed 12. This feels more like a speed 13 disc, but even with my baby hands, I can still grip this thing very easily backhand and feels very comfortable forehand. And it's also not very deep, which again adds to how comfortable that it is on the both backhand and forehand shots. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how I throw the Kong. So in these shots, I'm just trying to throw the Kong flat and just put it out on a hyzer. Now there was a gusting 25 mile per hour right to left headwind, so a lot of these shots were getting knocked down and getting kind of pushed to the left, as you can actually see the wind really play with the disc as it got to the ground. What I really liked about throwing the Kong is just how well it really held up to the wind. As I say, these are 25 mile an hour right to left headwinds, and the Kong is still hyzering out. Even trying to throw it on a flex here, you can see I do get it up in the air a little bit too much. It does get a little bit of turn, but it still fought its way back. I love the stability in this disc. It is definitely going to be a wind fighter for players with slower arm speeds like myself. Now let's go ahead and flip things and throw with the tailwind. Like the earlier shots, we're going to start out just by throwing the Kong flat and letting the stability take over and just let it hyzer out. I really liked how on a lot of these, even though it does fade, people always say the Kong tends to fade forward. It doesn't fade, have a really harsh dump like a lot of other overstable drivers have. This one does want to keep pushing forward when it hits the ground, which is really noticeable on these flex shots. I can bet I was probably getting at least an extra 30 to 40 feet just from the skips. Because of all the sneaky distance that you get with the Kong, from the amazing glide that it has here to that forward penetrating skip, I do think the Kong is actually going to be a lot more useful to slower arm speed players than I originally thought. It's definitely a very overstable driver for those of slower arm speeds, but you can definitely get really nice force over flexes with it. And to be honest, where I think it's really going to shine is right here with the forehand. If I were to bag the Kong, this is the kind of shot that I would use it for. It holds a really nice dead straight line, and then it has a predictable fade. Even these shots here were actually thrown into a 15 mile an hour headwind. And again, putting it into a flex, it holds that flex line and still fought its way back. I cannot believe the stability of this disc. It's absolutely crazy. I could not fully get this thing to turn over, could not get it to fully hold that anhyzer line, and it still came back every single time. It's going to make this such a predictable disc on forehand and something I can really trust. So what will the Kong do for you? For those of us with slower arm speeds, this is going to be a very overstable driver that we can always trust is going to come back no matter the wind. Even into a headwind, you can toss this thing, over crank it on an anhyzer, and it's still going to pop up and it's going to hyzer out. Now, for those faster arm speed players, this is going to be a huge crush disc. This is going to be something on a tailwind you're going to be able to get really nice flex out of and still have that predictability that it is going to fade back. But personally, where I think the Kong is really going to shine for myself is going to be on forehand. It feels so comfortable in the hand, and I get such nice, clean lines with the Kong. I'm definitely excited to really try this thing out over the course of the year. All right, thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed watching me make myself look foolish as I attempted to throw the Kong. Please put any comments below if you do have any questions. I'll definitely try to answer them as best I can. And a big shout out to my sponsor, Riverside, for their continued support. Thank you very much, guys.
skip just under the basket.